History isn't shaped by long plans or perfect strategies. Sometimes the entire fate of nations, even the world, changes because of a single decision made in the heat of the moment. A wrong turn, a sudden order, a commander saying go, a king saying stop, a leader hesitating for just 1 second, or choosing to act immediately. Today we're diving into last-minute decisions that didn't just change battles, they rewrote human history. Let's begin. D-Day, Eisenhower's last-second gamble, June 1944. The weather over the English Channel was a nightmare. Furious winds, thick clouds, waves slamming like walls of water. By every military standard, the Normandy invasion should have been postponed. Commanders warned Eisenhower that conditions were barely flyable, barely navigable, and borderline catastrophic. A delay of even 1 week might have ruined the operation. But postponing it a month would have given Nazi Germany enough time to fortify the beaches and reposition armored divisions. At 4 a.m., an emergency meeting was held. Meteorologists predicted a tiny 12-hour window of calmer weather. All eyes turned to Eisenhower. He went silent. 30 seconds of silence decided the fate of Europe. Then he said, "Okay, let's go." That single sentence set into motion 5,000 ships, 11,000 aircraft, 156,000 soldiers. If Eisenhower hesitated, the invasion might have been postponed until 1945. By then, the Nazis would have been far stronger. This one final decision changed the entire course of the war. Hitler halts his tanks, the Dunkirk miracle. In May 1940, the British army was trapped at Dunkirk. Behind them, the sea. In front of them, advancing German armor. Within hours, the British Expeditionary Force could have been destroyed. But then, something unbelievable happened. Hitler ordered his tanks to stop. Not for an hour, not for a day, but for 3 full days. German generals were furious, but Goering insisted the Luftwaffe could finish the job itself. Hitler, confident and overambitious, agreed. This 72-hour pause allowed Britain to mobilize 900 ships, from warships to fishing boats, evacuate 330,000 soldiers, save an entire army from annihilation. If Hitler hadn't paused, Britain likely would have lost the war. Churchill might have fallen. Europe might have come entirely under Nazi control. History turned because of one impulsive command. Truman chooses Hiroshima, the target chosen in minutes. Hiroshima was not the original target. The shortlist included Kokura, Niigata, Hiroshima, Yokohama. But on the night before the mission, meteorologists reported clear skies over Hiroshima, weaker anti-air defenses, and a city ideal for measuring the bomb's destructive radius. Truman made the decision almost instantly. Proceed. A different weather report, slightly longer debate, or a moment of hesitation could have changed everything. The bomb might have been dropped on Kokura. The war might have lasted months longer. A demonstration blast might have been chosen instead. But Truman's immediate decision ended the war, began the nuclear age, and reshaped global politics for decades. King Kashgar invades Europe, a decision that could rewrite Western civilization. When Kashgar became king of Persia, his empire was massive but unstable. Rebellions in Egypt, unrest in Babylon. Advisors urging him to avoid large foreign campaigns, logic said, stay home. But Kashgar wanted to finish what his father Darius had begun. In a sudden defiant decision, he ordered the largest military expedition of the ancient world to invade Greece. His force included possibly over 1 million soldiers, more than 1,200 warships, engineers, bridge builders, supply fleets. Persians constructed a 2-kilometer floating bridge across the Hellespont, the kind of engineering Europe wouldn't understand for 2,000 years. Now here's the twist. If Persia had taken just a few key islands in the Aegean sooner, everything would have changed. Athens and Sparta would have never formed their naval alliance. The Battle of Salamis might never have happened. Greece could have fallen entirely. And if Greece fell, Athenian democracy would never emerge, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle would never rise. Rome would never inherit Greek philosophy. Western civilization might develop along Persian cultural lines, all because of one bold decision by Xerxes. Julius Caesar crosses the Rubicon. On a cold night, Julius Caesar stood at the edge of the Rubicon River. Roman law strictly forbade him from crossing it with an army. If he crossed, civil war was certain. If he didn't, his political career was over. Witnesses say Caesar walked in circles, mumbling to himself, hesitating. Then suddenly he stopped and said, "Alea iacta est," the die is cast. He marched across. That single moment ended the Roman Republic, created the Roman Empire, reshaped Europe for centuries. If Caesar had taken just a few moments longer to reconsider, Rome and the world might have developed entirely differently. Kennedy rejects the airstrike, the nuclear war that never happened. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, U.S. military leaders urged an immediate airstrike. They didn't know that the missiles in Cuba were already armed with nuclear warheads. If the U.S. attacked, the Soviet response would likely have been immediate nuclear retaliation. Kennedy had only minutes to choose. He said, "No airstrike, only a naval quarantine." That single decision gave Khrushchev time to negotiate, prevented an automatic nuclear response, saved humanity from the closest brush with total destruction. A few minutes of calm thinking prevented global annihilation. Franz Ferdinand's wrong turn, the accident that started World War I. The assassination attempt in Sarajevo had failed earlier that day. Bombs missed. The Archduke survived. But then, the driver made a wrong turn into a narrow street, right in front of a cafe, where a disappointed assassin, Gavrilo Princip, was sitting, believing the mission was over. The car stopped. Princip stood, fired, and changed the world. This one accidental turn triggered Austria declaring war on Serbia, Russia mobilizing, Germany joining, France and Britain entering, and World War I start. One wrong turn, a 4-year war, 20 million deaths. Apollo 11, go for landing with 17 seconds of fuel. During the final descent onto the moon, alarms blared. Fuel was running out fast. If Mission Control ordered an abort, Armstrong and Aldrin would have had to retreat, and the first moon landing might never have happened. Flight director Gene Kranz hesitated only a moment before saying, "Go for landing." With only 17 seconds of fuel left, Eagle touched down. That decision put humanity on the moon, won the space race, changed the future of science and technology. A single sentence pushed humanity into the space age. Napoleon's invasion of Russia. In 1812, Napoleon had conquered almost all of Europe, but Russia was still stubborn. The generals had warned, winter, a long march, and the army might be destroyed. But Napoleon, with boundless pride and ambition, said, "We are going to Moscow." The huge French army entered Russia, but the Russians implemented scorched earth tactics. Cities and resources were emptied and burned. The soldiers were hungry and exhausted, and the merciless winter destroyed the army. This momentary decision changed the course of European power and marked the beginning of Napoleon's decline, a bold decision that changed European history forever. Lincoln delays the Emancipation Proclamation. In the midst of the American Civil War, Lincoln faced a fateful decision. Should he issue the Emancipation Proclamation and preserve the Northern Union, or wait until the right time came? He waited for several months, and at the last moment, he said, "Now is the time." The result? The Northern Union was preserved, the moral and political credibility of the war was strengthened, and the legal and historical path to the end of slavery in America was opened. A last-minute decision that changed the course of American history forever and made freedom a reality for millions. If you enjoyed this journey through the turning points of history, smash that like button, drop your favorite moment in the comments, and subscribe for more epic historical stories. Which last-minute decision surprised you the most? Let us know below.